All right, so today we're diving deep into ancient Egypt. But, not the usual pyramids and mummies stuff.
Right.
We're talking board games.
Ooh, board games.
Yeah, and not just any board game. We're talking Senet.
To Senet.
And this one, get this, goes all the way back to 3100 BC.
Wow. That's like seriously old.
I know, right? Like, imagine pharaohs playing board games.
Pharaohs, like with their little game pieces.
I know, it just blows my mind.
So we're talking like ancient Egypt meets game night, huh?
Exactly. And what's really fascinating is that Senet wasn't just like a fun way to pass the time. Nope, it was like seriously connected to their whole belief system about the afterlife.
Oh, okay. So like more than just a game.
Way more. So fill us in. What exactly was Senet and why was it so important to the ancient Egyptians?
Okay, so picture this. You've got this board game, right?
Okay.
But it's not just about, rolling dice and moving pieces. It was about like navigating the soul's journey after death.
Whoa, that's heavy stuff.
Yeah, the game board itself was like a representation of this whole journey with all these squares symbolizing, like challenges and obstacles that the soul would face.
So they were basically playing out the afterlife on a board game.
Kind of, yeah.
And it makes you wonder, how seriously did they take this?
Oh, they took it super seriously. Like, archaeologists have found Senet boards in tombs.
No way.
Yeah, buried right alongside the deceased, almost like, they needed it for the journey to the underworld.
Like a guidebook to the afterlife.
Exactly. And some of the game pieces, get this, were even shaped like protective deities.
Deities, like gods.
Yep, gods. And they were thought to, like, guide the player's soul through the afterlife.
So like little god figurines helping you move across the board.
Exactly. It was like a whole spiritual experience.
That's incredible. So, okay, how did the game actually work? Was it all about strategy or was there like an element of luck involved?
Well, the rules of Senet are still a bit of a mystery, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, scholars are still figuring it out. But we know they used, like, throwing sticks, kind of like dice,
Okay.
to determine movement. But there was definitely strategy involved, too.
Oh, I bet.
Like, players had to make choices about which pieces to move and how to navigate the board.
To get to the end.
Exactly. To reach the final square, which, represented a successful transition into the afterlife.
So it's like they believed your choices in the game could influence your afterlife.
It's a fascinating thought, right?
It's a bit like, I don't know, it makes you think about fate and free will, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, did they think their lives were a mix of both, just like the game?
That's a great point, and it really shows how these games can reflect, like, deeper cultural beliefs and ideas.
Yeah.
Like today we play games to relax or challenge ourselves.
Right.
Maybe the ancient Egyptians played Senet to, like, try to understand death and what comes after.
To grapple with the big questions.
Exactly. So it wasn't just a game, it was a reflection of their entire worldview.
Mind-blowing. It's amazing what we can learn from something as simple as a board game,
I know, right? It's like holding a piece of history in your hands.
And it makes you think, like, what will people in the future think when they dig up our games?
Right. Like, what will they learn about us from, like, I don't know, Monopoly or something?
Or those video games, the ones with all the fighting and the quests and stuff.
Yeah, those ones. What will they make of those?
Fascinating, right?
It really is.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. But we've uncovered some pretty amazing stuff about Senet, haven't we?
We have.
This ancient Egyptian board game that's not just a game.
Right.
It's a window into their culture, their beliefs about the afterlife, and even their understanding of fate and free will.
And it shows us that games have always been more than just a way to pass the time.
They're a reflection of who we are and what we value.
I think that's a great takeaway.
So keep playing those games, folks. You never know what future generations might learn from them.
And who knows, maybe they'll even help you navigate your own journey through the afterlife.
You never know. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into ancient Egyptian gaming.
It's been a blast.
And we'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration of the past.
See you then.